There's an old way of clearing bugs out of good furniture the way folks handled it long before the poison truck pulled up in the driveway. It's cheaper, it's gentler on your house, and for a piece or two caught early, it does the job. But I'll be straight with you from the start, the way I'd want a man to be straight with me. This is about saving the furniture, and I'll tell you plainly what the old way can do and where it comes up short. So grab a flashlight and let's walk through it together. Now, before you treat a single thing, you've got to know for certain what you're dealing with. A lot of folks catch the first sign of trouble and start spraying every corner of the house in a panic. Slow down. Half the battle is just finding where they hide, because bedbugs are shy, secretive little things. They don't sit out in the open in the daylight. They feed in the night and tuck away by day, deep in the seams and the folds and the tight, dark places where a hand won't go. So here is exactly what you're hunting for on a piece of furniture. The bug itself, full grown, is about the size and color of an apple seed, flat, oval, a reddish brown. The young ones are smaller and paler, near see-through, hard to catch with the eye. But you'll rarely spot the bug before you spot its sign, so that's where you start. Run your eye slow along the seams of a couch cushion or along the welting of a mattress, that raised, piped edge that runs the whole border. You're looking for tiny, rust-colored or dark reddish spots, like somebody dabbed a rusty pin down the stitching. That's the first tell. Then look for little dark specks, near black, about the size of ground pepper, gathered in the seams, the joints, and down in the screw holes. That's their droppings. And where you find a cluster of it, you've found a nest. There's more to look for. You might spot pale, papery shed skins. They molt as they grow, and leave the old skin behind, thin as a flake of onion skin, clinging in the folds. You might find the eggs, though they're small and white and hard to see, like tiny grains of rice glued down into a crack. And in a bad, settled-in case, some folks catch a faint, sweet, musty smell hanging around the piece. Sickly sweet is how I'd put it. Once you've smelled it, you don't forget it. So get down close and get a good flashlight and hold it at a low angle so the light rakes sideways across the fabric and throws every seam into shadow. Straight-on light hides them. Raking light shows them. Take an old plastic card, an expired gift card, a hotel key you never turned back in, and drag the edge along the seam and down into the cushion piping. That flushes them out of the fold where your eye can't reach, and look hardest in 3 places: the piping around the cushions, the folds where the fabric doubles over on itself, and the cracks and joints of any wood frame. On a couch, don't forget the zipper channel under the cushion, the seams behind any buttons or tufting, and the crease where the back meets the seat. On a mattress, work all 4 sides of the welting, the corners, and up under the tag. On a recliner or a fold-out, look right into the folding mechanism, then check the nightstand it sits against and the chair beside it too, because they'll spread from one piece to its neighbor. That's their whole country. That's where they live and breed. And here's a thing to do the moment you find them. Before you reach for anything else, knock their numbers down with a vacuum. Run the crevice tool slow and firm right down every seam, along the piping, into the folds and the joints, and press hard enough to drag the bugs and the loose eggs up out of the fabric. It won't get them all. The eggs glue themselves down and some ride out deep, but it clears the easy ones by the 100 and gives everything you do next a fighting head start. When you're done, take the bag or the canister straight outside, seal what came out of it in a plastic sack, and set it in the trash away from the house. A vacuum full of live bugs left in the hall closet has just moved the trouble, not ended it. All right, once you know for certain they're there, here's the heart of the whole old way, and it's the one thing that has never once let me down. Heat is the killer. Bed bugs cannot stand heat, and neither can their eggs, and the eggs are the very part that most treatments miss and most folks forget. You can kill every bug you see and still lose the war if the eggs hatch out a week later, but heat takes them both. Get a piece up to a sustained heat of about 118 to 120 degrees, and the bug and the egg die together. That's the number to carry in your head. 118 degrees. Now, the handiest tool for putting that heat right where they live is a garment steamer, the upright kind you'd use to press the wrinkles out of a shirt. Well, a garment steamer, mind you, not a wallpaper steamer, though I'll be honest, either one throws plenty of heat if that's what's already out in the shed. The trick with the steamer is all in how slow you go. You move the head an inch or two a second, no faster, right along the couch seams, over the cushion piping, down the mattress welting, and into the joints of a wood frame. Slow is the whole secret. Move it quick, and all you've done is warm them up and stir them out. Move it slow, and the heat soaks down into the seam and does the work on contact bug and egg both. Go over each stretch twice if you've got the patience. Use a dry steamer if you can, one that puts out heat more than water, so you're not soaking the piece clean through. And one caution, keep the steam off any motor or electrical part in a recliner or a power sofa, and let a piece dry good before you close it back up. Know, too, that steam works the surface and the near inside of a seam. It won't reach the deep core of a thick mattress, which is one more reason we take the harder pieces apart later on. For the smaller wood pieces, the summer sun will do the job for free. A drawer, a small picture frame, a single kitchen chair, seal it up tight in a heavy black contractor bag. Set it in a closed-up car or out in the direct sun on a good hot day, and that black bag will climb well past the lethal mark and hold it there for hours. Leave it the better part of a day, morning clear through to evening, so the heat drives all the way into the core of the wood where the bugs are tucked. They can't outrun it in there. If you want to be sure, set a cheap thermometer in the bag and check it's holding past that 118. And every cushion cover, every slip cover, every sheet and blanket that piece has touched, strip it all off and wash it in hot water, then run it through a hot dryer. Truth is, the dryer does most of that work on its own. A good 30 minutes on high heat, and nothing living comes out of that drum. Even the pieces you're afraid to wash or run through a hot dryer alone will still do it. Now, the black bag and the sun work fine for a drawer or a chair, but you're going to ask me about the big piece, the stuffed armchair, the love seat, the tall dresser too big to bag and too deep for a steamer to reach the middle of. So let me be straight with you about that, because it's exactly where folks get themselves hurt. The gold standard for a big piece is real heat, whole piece heat, brought up slow to around 120 degrees, and held there long enough to soak clear into the core. That's what the professionals do, with proper heaters and thermometers and a trained eye on it the whole time. There are purpose-built heater bags and chambers you can buy, size for a chair or a mattress, and for a valuable piece that money's well spent. But hear me plain on the thing folks try instead, because it burns houses down every single year. Do not go building yourself a plastic tent with a space heater running inside it and then walk off. I won't show you that, and I won't help you do it. A space heater shut up tight against fabric and left unwatched is a house fire waiting on a match, and I'd sooner you lose the couch than the house. So, for the big piece, you do the surface work. You can do safe steam every seam and every inch you can reach. Work the dust deep into the frame, set the traps beneath it, and if that's not enough on a bad one, it's a purpose-made heat chamber, or a professional, never a heater in a tent. Now, heat isn't the only way. Cold works too, but I'll be honest with you, cold is slow, and folks get it wrong more than any other method I know. A chest freezer, the deep kind, set down to 0 degrees, will kill the bugs and the eggs in a small item, a book, a drawer, a small frame you can fit inside. But it takes about 4 days at that temperature, not a few hours, 4 full days. The cold has to work all the way into the center of the thing, and that takes its time. Bag the item up before it goes in, so it doesn't gather frost and damp, and so when you pull it out, nothing crawls loose. And here's the mistake I see most. A cold snap outside, one freezing night on the porch, is not reliable because the core of the item never gets cold enough, and the bugs simply ride it out deep in the middle where the chill never reaches. So if you're going to use cold, use a real freezer and give it the honest 4 days. Cold is a fine tool for the things you can't heat: books, papers, a delicate old keepsake. Just don't hurry it. Then there's the powder the old timers trusted, and it's still one of the best quiet tools a body can own: diatomaceous earth. It's a mouthful to say, but it's a simple thing underneath the fossilized remains of tiny little water plants ground down to a fine, soft dust. And here's what I've always liked about it. It doesn't work by poison at all. It works by touch. Put it under a glass and you'd see it's full of sharp little edges. And when a bug crawls across it, it scratches clean through the waxy shell that seals the bug's moisture in. The bug dries out over a few days and dies. No chemical to it whatsoever, which is why it can sit and keep working long after you've walked away. But you've got to use it right, or it does you no good at all. First thing, buy the food grade kind. There's another grade sold for swimming pool filters, treated different, and that one you leave right on the shelf. Food grade. Say the words plain at the counter so there's no mix-up. Second thing, and this is where most folks go wrong, you lay down a light dust, so light you can barely tell it's there. A man's instinct is to pour on a good thick pile and figure more has got to be better. It isn't. A thick pile, they'll just walk around, the same as you'd step over a puddle in the road. It's the thin, near invisible film they're forced to walk through that does the killing. Work it in gentle with a soft, dry brush. An old paintbrush is perfect down into the seams, the cracks, the joints, the screw holes, and up underneath the frame where nobody ever looks. And wear a dust mask while you work. And don't stir up a cloud you're breathing, because any fine dust like that is hard on the lungs. Now let me be square with you. It is slow, and it only kills the bug that actually crawls over it. So think of it as a backstop, the patient sentry you leave on watch after the heat's done the heavy lifting, not a silver bullet, a slow, faithful helper. Leave it working a couple of weeks and lay it down fresh if it gets wet or wiped away. And now we come to the part where a man who knows furniture has the real edge over a fellow with a spray can. You take the piece apart. This is the thing I can hand you that the man who's only ever held a can of mist cannot. A surface spray hits the surface, but the bug doesn't live on the surface. It lives down in the joint, back in the drawer pocket, up inside the hollow of the frame where no mist ever drifts. So you go in after it on its own ground. Take a few minutes and a screwdriver and snap a photo before you start so you know how it goes back together. On a woodbed frame, a chair, a dresser, back the joints apart where they'll come loose, pull the drawers all the way out and flip them over and treat the mortises, the rail pockets, the screw holes, the drawer runners, the back panel, and the empty voids the drawers slide into where they gather thick, a headboard. Take it right off the wall and treat the back of it and the bolt holes. On a couch, unzip the cushion covers and check them inside and out, then tip the whole thing up onto its back. And here's the one hiding spot most folks never find in their lives underneath. There's a thin sheet of cloth, a dust cover stapled across the bottom of the frame. Peel back a corner of it, and you're looking straight into the hollow belly of the couch, which is exactly where they gather thickest. Steam in there, dust in there, then tack the cloth back, or leave it hanging loose. After 40 years at my own bench, I can tell you the whole game, start to finish, is reaching the place. The trouble actually lives, and a piece of furniture simply holds more of those places than most folks would ever guess. Vacuum it out, steam it, dust it, and put it back together. You've cleared it from the inside out, the way you'd clear a house one room at a time. And now, once that wood piece is cleared and dried back, here's the step almost everybody skips, and a man who works wood never should. You close the door behind them, A bed bug lives in the cracks, so a piece full of open cracks is a piece with 100 doors standing wide. So you go around it and you shut them. All that raw, rough, unfinished wood down in the joints and up inside the frame, run a coat of oil or shellac or a little paint into it, because a smooth, sealed surface gives a bug far less to grip and hide in than bare open grain does. Then any real gap you can lay a fingernail in a checked rail, a split in a drawer bottom, a seam where two boards have shrunk apart over the years you fill it, a little wax pressed in, a thin bead of glue, a sliver of wood glued down into a wide one. You're not making it airtight, you can't. But every crack you close is one less door they can ever come home to. This is the step that separates clearing a piece once from keeping it clear for good. A man who works wood can take a dresser from a warren of hiding places to a smooth, sealed piece with one afternoon and a can of finish, and I'd be doing you wrong not to hand you that. Once a piece is clean and closed up, you'll want to keep it that way, and there's a couple of simple, sturdy things that hold the line. For a bed, zip the mattress and the box spring both into a bed bug-proof encasement, a fitted cover made for exactly this trouble. It does two jobs at one time. Any bug sealed inside starves with nothing to feed on and dies in there, and any new bug is locked out with no seam to hide in. Get a good one with a sound zipper and no tears, and leave it zipped a long while. These are patient bugs, and they can go a long stretch between meals. Then set interceptor cups under the legs of the bed and the heavy furniture, little dish-shaped traps the leg sits down inside, so a bug trying to climb up from the floor tumbles into the moat and can't climb out. Check them once a week. They're your early warning as much as your trap. And pull the bed a few inches off the wall so nothing's touching, because a bed shoved tight to the wall is just a bridge they walk right across. Small things, all of them. But they're the whole difference between clearing a piece once and clearing it over and over till you're wore out. And one more. Since you and I both love a good old piece, this is how you keep the trouble out to begin with. When you bring home a second-hand find, a yard sale dresser or a curbside chair with good bones, don't carry it straight indoors. Stop in the garage or out on the drive and go over it first, right there with your flashlight and your steamer, seam by seam and joint by joint. A free chair isn't free if it brings a colony in with it. I've turned down more than one handsome piece over the years and treated a good dozen others in the driveway before ever they crossed my threshold. Treat it outside and bring it in clean, and do the whole thing twice. This is the part patience is made of. The eggs are the tough ones, and even careful work can leave a few tucked away that hatch out a week or two later. So mark your calendar, and about 10 days to 2 weeks on, come back and treat the piece over again. The same way, steam the seams, dust the joints, check your traps. The second pass catches the ones that hatched after the first, and that is usually what finally breaks the back of it. One treatment starts it, two finishes it. Now, I promised you honesty, so here's the honest part, and it's the whole reason I sat down to make this. There's a pile of home remedies floating around out there, and most of them don't do what folks are hoping. Essential oils, lavender, tea tree oil, the whole fragrant basket of them, rubbing alcohol sprays, mothballs tossed in a drawer. I understand the pull of them. They're cheap, they're gentle, and they smell like you're getting something done. And I'll be fair, a spray like that might kill one single bug you soak head on, right where you can see it land. But it will not clear an infestation, not ever. The ones you never saw, down in the joints and the seams, carry on just fine, and the eggs don't so much as flinch. So don't you bet your house on a little bottle of oil. Bring the heat, take the piece apart, and set the powder as your backstop. Those are the three that earn their keep. And here's the bigger truth, the one that matters most of all. Everything I've laid out for you is for catching it early, a piece or two, one couch, one bed, before it's had the run of the place. But if it's gotten down into the walls, behind the baseboards, into every room in the house, That is past what the old way can handle on its own, and there is no shame in that whatsoever. That is the hour to call in a professional and let them do the work they're trained for. A real, spread out, whole house infestation is a hard, stubborn thing, and picking up the phone isn't losing, it's just being honest about the size of the job in front of you. The old ways are for early and for one good piece, and for keeping it from ever coming back. They were never meant to be a cure for a house already gone bad. Now let me be honest, the other direction too, because I've told you to save your furniture and I meant it, but not every piece is worth the fight, and a man who works wood ought to tell you which is which. A solid wood piece, a real oak dresser, a hardwood bed frame, a good chair with peg joints that you save near every time, because the wood is the value and the wood cleans up. But a cheap thing built of particle board and glue with a paper skin, already sagging and swelling at the corners, that one isn't worth your hours, and it can't really be sealed or taken apart without crumbling in your hands. A deep tufted, thickly padded, upholstered piece that's riddled all the way through. Sometimes the honest answer there is to strip the fabric and the old stuffing clean off it, treat the bare frame underneath, and have it built back up new, because the frame's still good even when the padding's a lost cause. And cane seats, and old woven rush, and loose flaking veneer, those hold bugs in ways that are hard to reach and harder yet to seal. So look at the piece with a clear eye. If the bones are solid wood and worth having, you fight for it, and you'll win. If it's glue and paper and already failing, let it go with no regret. Just carry it out wrapped tight in plastic so you're not shaking bugs loose in every room on the way to the curb. But hear me close on this last piece, because folks get it exactly backwards and it costs them dear. Whatever else you do, do not throw the good furniture out. I have watched people drag a solid oak dresser to the curb over a bug they could have killed with one afternoon of sun and a slow pass of a steamer. A solid wood piece can almost always be saved. That is the whole point of everything I've shown you here. And there's worse to it. When you haul an infested couch through the house and out the front door, you're shaking bugs loose in every single room you carry it through, and now the thing you were trying to be rid of is spread from the bedroom to the porch. Save the piece. Treat it right where it stands. It's cheaper, it's cleaner, and 9 times out of 10 it holds. So pick one of these and start. Start with the piece you're most worried about, the very one you've had in the back of your mind all the way through this. Get your flashlight and find the sign. Bring the heat, take it apart. Set your backstop and hold the line. And if the old way saves a piece for you, come on back and tell me below. And tell me what you're treating a couch, a bed, an old dresser handed down from your mother's house. I read everyone, and it helps the next person along more than you'd think. Build it once. Build it to last 100 years. I'll see you back at the bench.